The solution to catastrophic wildfire is simple. Prevention, prevention, and more prevention. So in this municipal election that we're about to have on the 9th of October, here in Lethbridge, I'm not sure if everybody's up to speed on what's going on in their city. Starting with number one, when you're building a city, you got to make sure that you have all your infrastructure in place as you're expanding your population. And in Lethbridge, Alberta, this is insanity. I have watched for years the building of this city and the infrastructure that's put in place, and the infrastructure has not caught up with population. See it in the traffic. If we had 5 accidents in the city of Lethbridge on a Friday afternoon, one of them down on the number 3 highway, number 3 highway, it would just shut the city completely down. That's not right. It's almost like our hospitals. Well, if it's an 8-hour wait to get in to get a piece of steel out of your eye, or stitches, or a sickness, or flu, whatever. If it's 8-hour wait, what's going to happen when there is actually a disaster? Like, what are you going to do? Well, the city of Lethbridge has not built the sewer infrastructure, the wastewater infrastructure, the clean water infrastructure, and there's also it's when your water, like when it rains and then it goes into storm sewers and then it goes into the river. That was supposed to be dealt with 10 years ago with Dodic. The plans are already in place out by Cavendish for this system that deals with sewer, not sewer water, but flow water that comes from the sky and just goes into the river. And their plan was they were going to have this big, huge lagoon, and all the particulates were going to float down to the bottom, and then they were going to siphon out the water and then have it go back into the river that way. That way all the particulates have settled down and there's less toxinogens going into our river. The city of Lethbridge uses your river as a sewer. Just the infrastructure is not there. The population has blown up. And this isn't right. Like, this isn't right. You know, then they have this big dump that's 500 meters from the river. Massive dump where all the garbage from southern Alberta goes to transfer stations in each town, and then it's just brought to the city dump, and then it's insanity. It's so much garbage. So much toxic garbage that's going into the landfill that has nowhere else but to leach into the river eventually. 10, 20, 30 years. Who knows? You have a failure of a whole system there because of different things, like when we have big storms and we have all this deluge of water, and then all of a sudden the water will push some of these coulees into the river, and you see it everywhere. Look at that. All that stuff is all slipped into the river. So when that happens and we have this massive dump, all that garbage is going to go into our river. It might not happen for another 10 years. It might happen next year. Who knows? But have they planned for it? No. They're just making money. Corporate Lethbridge is making money. The city isn't making money. They're paying for all of it. But corporate Lethbridge is. We need to get to the bottom of what is going on in the city. And it's hard to find truth because everything is all covered up, or it just seems like that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's been run for 30 years. Why would we change it? Well, we change it because it needs to be changed. And if we have the same system that's doing the same thing over and over and over again, we end up not changing and not fixing and not building the stuff that needs to be built to protect our river. Our most sacred asset in southern Alberta is our farming and our river. It's crazy. Corporate farming is just going nuts. GMO, nuts. Feeding our cows, and then the seed oils that we produce here. I mean, this year, I was out in Sterling. A farmer had grown canola. The Chinese aren't buying our canola. So 3 years ago, he was making $25 a bushel. Now the Chinese aren't buying the canola, the GMO canola that they used to fry all this food, fast food. And at the end of it, it's toxic. It's been proven to be toxic. Is there an investigation about this? The more they use the oils to do fries, the more they reuse this oil, the more toxic it gets. Does anybody know anything about any of this? Probably not. But should we know about it? Yeah, of course. Truth, light, and nutrients. Truth wherever we may find it. Light, because this is what sustains us. And nutrients, that's what feeds us. Truth, light, and nutrients. And if we can start getting to the bottom of some of this stuff that's going on, maybe we can change it. Because until we find out the truth, how are we supposed to change it? It's insane. This whole thing is just insanity. And how are you going to fix it? Well, utilitarianism. So if totalitarianism is a country breaker, utilitarianism is a country maker. A country building blocks for a country that's doing the right thing instead of the wrong thing. The wrong thing that's just, well, this is the way we do it. This is the way we've been doing it. I don't know how this is all going to transpire, but I just know that if we don't make a move on finding out the truth so that we can determine what our next move is. You know, often I've said, well, environmental or elemental utilitarianism is determines human conduct, therefore determining human impact on our environment. And until we start figuring this all out, we're just going to keep going down that wrong path. We have to start going down the right path. Our kids' kids, and their kids. Like, this is not sustainable. This is anti-utilitarian. And maybe if we do make some changes, we can move forward on more stuff and doing this because we're going in the right direction. Look at our food supply. We have GMO corn. We have GMO this and GMO that and GMO this. And we're just getting more and more and more of it instead of less and less of it and getting into healthier crops. Look at hemp. Just hemp alone. Why are we growing hemp here in southern Alberta on a massive scale? Why aren't we building clothing out of hemp? Our seed oil could be hemp. Our roughage and everything else that goes, you can build clothing out of all that. But we just choose to go with this corporate option where we just Rogers Sugar and Viterra and Monsanto. It's upsetting because we're going the ship is going in the wrong direction. So how do you right it and send it in the right direction? These are the answers that we have to ask ourselves. I know this equation, greatest good for greatest number, pushes us to find truth so that we can determine what we should be doing opposed to what we are doing. Changing our behaviors, changing the way we do things. It would feel good to know that infrastructure in the city of Lethbridge is on the increase and population is flatlined until that infrastructure is in place. But we only have so many streets. Look at our downtown core. We only have so much that we can build bigger. So change, yeah, change is necessary. And as an election is looming, you guys don't have this information that you need to determine who is going to be good for your city and who's not going to be good for your city. They're just going to keep going. Like when I say, yeah, maybe stop building houses. Well, we're at a point right now where we have to build more houses as a country because of our immigration. Well, that's a whole nother subject. So we need more houses. So they're going to build more and more and more and more. And every single house they build is going to poison that river more. It's going to send more stuff to the landfill. Everything's going to get bigger, and eventually you're going to hit that spot where enough is enough and something is going to break. Wouldn't it be nice to fix that something that's going to break before it breaks? I'm a tree guy. That's what I do, is I go in and assess the situation, assess the hazards, then I come up with a game plan on what we should do, me and the customer, for the tree. He agrees to it, we move forward on it, and then all those hazards that were in that tree have now been eliminated. So when we do get a heavy wet snow, they're not phoning me to come fix something or do something, or the city for a power line or an outbuilding or an insurance company for a building that gets destroyed by a big branch. I have been there, and that branch is reduced or eliminated. So it's not a hazard anymore. I know how to do all this stuff, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not an economist. I'm just a tree guy. Banff National Park, we have too many bad trees. That's why Jasper went down. That's why Waterton went down. And you guys are willing to let the same people that let that happen determine the future of Banff. Our environment minister is the same with Trudeau as it is with Carney. They should have went in and they should have done the right things in Waterton, the peace park of the world. They should have went into Jasper long ago and eliminated the beetle kill. But they chose not to. And why? Oh, that's a big question. Anyways, enough rambling. So Doug Fur out. Cheers.